Are you going somewhere?
Today
Are you
we
going?
are going to continue learning about are women obligated to fast during Tisha B'Av if they're pregnant, if they're nursing, other people who are exempt. It seems like what the topic that we're learning about is very not popular at all. No one's interested, but it's a very important topic, and we're interested. So we're gonna continue to learn about this. I'm gonna point something out over here. I didn't mention it yesterday, which is that from the Shulchan Aruch itself and from the Mishnah Berura, we actually don't have a heter for a woman who is pregnant not to fast. It would actually a woman who is pregnant would actually need to fast according to the Shulchan Aruch. We're going to see now opinions the other way. The only person who was permitted to break their fast, as we learned together yesterday, was
Chaya.
yeah, Chai, someone who recently gave birth. Just two small things that we might have skipped over yesterday. It's very interesting, Shari Tshuva. Shari Tshuva over here on our simon discusses. Kasav Yerchi Yosef, Yesh Misa Kasav. The B'nekes Shahatinu Ichoi Lavaroifa Imer Shahatainis Minikaso Goydim Shinui Chalav Umazik Latino Shari Lalecha. Some say that a nursing woman, that if the child is sick, and the doctor says that the fast, when with is going to cause by fasting is going to cause a change in the milk.
Milk deficiency.
Yeah, and it could consequently damage the child. Shari lo echel. Such an individual is allowed to eat. So keep in mind, this is not just talking about any nursing woman. Okay, it's talking about specifically a nursing woman who has a sick child, infant, who the doctor said you cannot continue nursing because that could cause a change in the milk supply, which will consequently the
Continue
child.
fasting. Can't continue fasting.
Yeah. So, but keep in mind, this is not a blanket heter. This does not allow any nursing woman to break her fast. Specific scenario in which the child's in danger and the doctor's orders not to fast. Find Dvar Shmuel Siman Kov Zayin Shekos. Look at Dvar Shmuel.
We're
Right.
talking about women who are against formula too, right? The women who
We
don't
didn't
want
mention
to.
formula. We're talking about not formula yet, but we will come to
But I
that.
mean, obviously, the woman, if a woman wants to just use formula, then she could fast.
Yeah, we're going to come to the formula. Nothing's going to be obvious until we learn about it. V'ayin Dvar Shmuel Siman Kov Zayin Shekosov. Im chushas haminekes hiraba kol kach, she'in lachalav, hasarich lahanikoi v'havlari noroitze lechav lino ki mimeno v'sakon hilo. Let's say the nursing woman is weak. She's very weak. And she doesn't have enough milk supply. Okay? And the child only wants to eat from the mother. Ha kol safik nafashos doiche Shabbos v'yom ha-kippurim, v'kol shekein Tisha B'Av shu d'Rabbanan. Any doubt when it comes to life and death, medical, it pushes off Shabbos and Yom Kippur, certainly on Tisha B'Av, which is rabbinic in nature. So therefore, when in doubt, one would break the fast. Okay, this is talking about if the full supply of milk is coming only for the mother. What is not discussed in the Shari Tshuva is formula. If someone's doing a little bit of each. I think that it's interesting that the Mishna Berura doesn't quote the Shari Tshuva. The Shari Tshuva, none of it is his own words. It's the Birchi Yosef and it's the Dvar Shmuel. I looked up this Dvar Shmuel on the Otzer. The print was just so bad. It was so painful trying to read. I didn't even bother making a PDF file. But here's the Birchi Yosef inside. Very short. Okay. And he quotes the Dvar Shmuel also. Okay, that's the Birchi Yosef. It's the Shari Tshuva, and those are the points from yesterday. Oh, one other thing that I wanted to just share. The Aruch HaShulchan, writes something interesting on the case of Chaser Deya. You said yesterday that was some sort of mental illness. He had a mental illness of some sort, and then he was healed, and he's improving daily. He's not allowed to fast on Tisha B'Av, and you could even have meat or wine till he's completely healed. That's right. Why? That tinus Tashivenu Chisaron and Daisa. Chimini is Balsa V'Yayin. V'kol ma shesarech afilu mishar yenuyim. Kerechitz v'sichli masasanduk yitzarech harbe shmira. Aruch HaShulchan extends this. The whole Tisha B'Av doesn't apply to him. He could take a shower, he could bath, he could anoint himself, wear leather shoes. He needs a lot of protection, says the Aruch HaShulchan. The fasting will not help. So you see from over here something very interesting. That not only for a physical illness is one allowed to break the fast. Not only that, which we're going to be learning about more, but there will even be more leniencies applied to mental illness than physical. You see, a certain degree, mental is worse than physical. You know, we discussed in the past in Parshas Vayechi, if I'm not mistaken, why Hashem created illness in general, multiple reasons. You know, no type of illness is good. It's rough either way. But you know, you talk about something like dementia. These issues, people don't know who they're married to, they don't know their own kids. It's rough, even though your body's physically working, okay? This is the Aruch HaShulchan. I wanted to share this, but really I wanted to share this Aruch HaShulchan. ואולי זהו בימיהם שהדורות היו בריאים וחזקים, אבל עכשיו חלילה לא היו ילדס להיסענוס בתשע באב. תויך למד, כי עדיין חלושה היא והיא ממש כחוילה ולכן אין להניחון להיסענוס בתשע באב. Rav Shulchan says, perhaps, maybe, specifically in their generation, they were stronger. They were healthier. But nowadays, God forbid to allow a woman who just gave birth within the last 30 days to fast on Tisha B'Av, because she is still weak. And she is like a sick person. And don't allow her to fast on Tisha B'Av. A very strong language to be lenient, which I tried emphasizing how strong this language was. This is going to be a machloikes between the Mishna Berura and the Aruch HaShulchan. The Mishna Berura over here clearly paskins like the Ramah, who says that she would fast.
If she's healthy.
If she's healthy. She started fasting and then she can't continue, then she would stop. And it's even more clear from this Mishna Berura right over here, where it's clearly specified that between, if a woman just gave birth, not within the last 7 days, after 7 days, but within the last 30 days, so in between the last 30 to do it backwards, to 7 days, right? You understand what I'm saying? So then Mishna Berura says, "V'dachar achar shiva." Toich shiva, she doesn't fast. Certainly within 3. But if it's within 7, then the Mishna Berura is more stringent, like the Ramah. Like this Ramah. Says that they should fast as long as they don't have a lot of pain and there's a concern of danger. So it's going to be a fundamental machlokus between the Mishna Berura and the Aruch HaShulchan. Regarding what? Regarding a woman who is within, who just gave birth after, not within the last week, more than a week, but she's still within 30 days. I don't know if we're going to have time to finish all this today. I think we could because his stuff usually flows. Took me time. I went through yesterday. We have this. We have the Dirshu. Then we have Harfinus's Chuvas, which I just started. I didn't even look at the Dirshu yet. He's talking about over here a pregnant woman. According to the Shulchan Aruch, pregnant women need to fast on Tisha B'Av. Finish. We have to realize something about this Shulchan Aruch. The Mechaber over here says, if you're pregnant, you gotta fast Tisha B'Av, right? Just like you do on Yom Kippur, etc. Then he says, a woman who gave birth within the last 30 days, similarly, someone's sick and needs to eat, you don't need to evaluate them, you don't need to evaluate the situation, assess the situation. Rather, you can feed them immediately. Why? Key line to remember by heart. In a place of sickness, the rabbis didn't decree. If a pregnant woman is getting sick, she's very weak. On Yom Kippur, the Aruch HaShulchan points out, you only eat in the case of danger. And Tisha B'Av, even if it's not dangerous. In a place of a sickness, they didn't decree. What does sickness mean? That doesn't mean that you're bedridden. You're sick. Let's talk about a pregnant woman for a moment. Let's say she's very weak. Okay? More than a regular fast. Very weak. Okay? He says, especially in the earlier stages of pregnancy. And especially if she previously had a miscarriage. By the way, if you look into it, I think like 1 out of every 4 pregnant women have a miscarriage at some stage of the pregnancy.
Wow.
Yeah, you could Google it if you're interested, if you want to fact check that. You could do it now, you could do it later, but so there's what to rely on over here, especially.
1 of 4 pregnancies is a
That's
miscarriage?
right, miscarriage.
1 of 4, but it's
It
not
might even
one.
be higher, yeah.
Mhm.
You could Google it anytime you want. Where's Shy when you need him? He's a king Googler, what we learn. Okay, now you have some tricky words. If she has aches on her body, just talk about medical issues that she has. Dizziness, vertigo. She threw up. She has issues where she's missing blood. A lot of blood's coming out. She's having heart issues. Blood pressure issues, either being too high or low. Very common among other older people also. Okay? Something that requires antibiotics. All of these issues, these medical issues. Fever. You don't fast. I don't know if I highlighted it, but Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says in another place, you don't need to wait till you faint to break your fast. Someone told me recently his wife, they went to the hospital 3 times already.
On the kindness itself?
For fasting, yeah. She doesn't fast anymore like that. I'm saying, yeah. Yeah. I think usually people who are skinnier have less of an issue fasting. I think. But yeah. And he says nowadays, because of the weakness of our generation and the weather. Remember this talking about if you're not in an area that is good air conditioning. Today, like today, is gorgeous. It's hard to believe it's the middle of summer, 70 degrees over here. July 21st. Unbelievable, no? Nowadays, because of the weakness of the generation and the air, hot air, you don't have AC. Many are lenient for pregnant women up until the 9th month that she should not fast. Nevertheless, since this is against the simple explanation of what's in the Torah and Shulchan Aruch, one can only be lenient by speaking to a Rav. Okay? comes out, then based on this, you do have leniencies that could be applied to pregnant women. But one has to know how to apply them. Okay, here are the extensive footnotes over here. Footnote 35, if there's a concern of a premature childbirth, she would not fast. Based on what Rav Moshe Feinstein's Zatzal says, it's prohibited to cause a premature childbirth.
What will be the cause of that? What's the what?
Fasting could perhaps cause that.
Something that induces pregnant. Something that induces a
If you get in a dangerous situation and the medical team will highly recommend inducing, I feel like they always recommend inducing in general because someone makes money from it. That's my personal opinion. Not that I research the subject well, but they're always trying to push getting induced and
also
always pushing it.
are there
Look at over
patterns?
here, footnote 37. Ravaji
there-
Yosef, Shal Chuvas Chavadas. He's lenient for a pregnant woman if it's Tisha B'Av that was nidcha, fell on Shabbos and was pushed till after Shabbos. He'll be much more lenient on that. Okay, as we saw the leniency in the Mishna Berura and the Magen Avraham, it was pushed off. Shlomo Zalman Auerbach also says, most women of the generation, Kebali Michush Ksas Chashivi, considered someone with like a little bit of an ache. Some are still stringent with all this, but look at it and see what's going on over here. Some say they should fast until after halachic midday. Everything depends on the exact case. I just want to reiterate, before we even continue over here, what my personal halachic opinion and psak is based on all of this information that we're learning. It's a boatload of information. Also, when you type it up, I think it could be more clear than how it's written on the Word document. If a woman is pregnant, she is nursing, she should try to do what she could. She's talking about it after 7 days that she just gave birth. And if she has problems, she's in pain, she sees it's affecting her supply, there are other potential issues that come immediately you start eating. Okay? That's all. Or drinking. We're going to learn about that. What exactly do you eat? What exactly do you drink? How much? We're going to learn about that. What don't you eat? What don't you drink? Yeah, look, if there are specific cases, that's the general rule. If there are specific cases, such as underlying medical issues or previous history of medical issues, they say past performance is not indicative of future results, right? True but false. In the medical world, past performance is actually is incredibly significant. So, they say that by the world of finance. You could say that, maybe, at least in short term, not long term. But the point of the matter is that's the general psak. If a woman is very, very nervous and she really thinks it's going to be an issue and she's in within 30 days, there's certainly what to rely on. You have the Aruch HaShulchan over there and others, but why not try to fast? Try to do a little bit. I just wanted to throw that out there. He basically says everything that we just said about a pregnant woman would also apply to a nursing woman. Everything that we just said, okay? All the medical issues, why she wouldn't need to fast on Tisha B'Av. Then he quotes the Birchei Yosef in the Shari Tshuva with the milk supply. We already learned that inside, so we don't need to repeat it. However, look at this, David. In the name of the Chazon Ish, they say that he would paskin. But if someone is nursing, do not fast when the child is just eating from the mother's milk, even if the child wouldn't be sick.
As opposed to what? As opposed to eating
We'll
something
see,
else?
because we're going to talk about formula soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if there's a concern that her milk supply will decrease because of the fast, she's allowed to eat. Here it is, David. She doesn't need to come on to tachlifim. Tachlifim is
Formula?
Literally, tachlifa means
Change.
a change, something else instead, exchange, aka formula. She doesn't need to come onto formula and say, "Oh, I could easily get away with now,
Interesting.
now giving my child formula instead of the milk." Delegating, but switching up. She doesn't need to. Why? Listen to this line over here. The doctors say that chalav aim yesh bo yisar gadol latinok. A mother's milk has a great need to it. There's a tremendous amount. Furthermore, there's a concern of kilkul ma'ayim ekiv shinui mehazanas aim letachlifim shoynin. There's a concern of the infant's stomach getting ruined, the intestines. Because you're changing from milk to formula. Yeah, it's quite a line. Usually when you do change, you don't go totally in the formula. You just go partially. Okay. Footnote 40, it says she shouldn't be eating a lot, she should just eat specific amounts, like we'll learn about more. The Order L'Tzion says, if you have a nursing woman who's healthy and it's after 30 days from the birth, she should try to fast and actually give the child formula. Others would probably argue on that. Okay, David, did this answer your question from before? With formula?
Yes, it's not so simple to switch to formula.
Right.
But
over here, he quotes the Aruch HaShulchan, which we already saw word for word. It says many other Gedolei Achronim say this as well. Even after 30 days, they say. Perhaps she could be still weak. If she's still weak from the childbirth, she should not fast. But you cannot be lenient without asking the Shaila. Childbirth, sometimes there could be complications that exist which will extend the healing process after. Someone had a miscarriage after 40 days of having the fetus in the stomach. She's considered like a yoladis, like a woman who gave birth. Regarding these halachas of fasting. Tremendous chiddush over there. Charles Chuba's Divrei Yotzev says the other way. Since nowadays the medical our medicine is so much better. Medical process. Therefore, just after a few days, a woman could be already considered healthy after childbirth. And therefore, there'd be more of a reason for her to fast within 30 days. Everything depends on what the posting says. If she's nursing, there's more room to be lenient. Should we point out this exact opposite of what the Aruch HaShulchan says? Okay, that's why I came to that conclusion that it's better to at least try to fast. I think it's a very fair conclusion.
Mishna Berura, right? Just try to fast and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Some tough Kippur. Talk about the types of sicknesses that if someone had or is allowed to eat, this certainly applies on Yom Kippur. Certainly applies on Tisha Beav. Even if there's no danger, we're going to be lenient. It's just if a guy's got a small headache, you can't eat. Talk about sicknesses. Even if the guy's not in his bed from a sickness or he doesn't have an extra sickness, especially applies someone who has a sickness in his body. Shouldn't be stringent at all. Seems like that's an internal sickness. such as cancer or something. Right? Similarly, someone who's sick, who then got healed, but he's still weak. He's in the recovery phase. And he's concerned that by fasting, he's going to return and get sick again. He's allowed to eat.
Right, Tisha Beav, right? That's what it's doing.
Where does it say that? No, that's the next part.
This one also good.
No, that's
Somebody's
talking about
weak.
something else. Yeah. He's in the recovery stage, and by him eating, he's going to revert back to being sick.
If he doesn't eat.
Yeah, he's allowed to eat. Footnote 52, older people who are weak, they do not need to fast.
On Tisha Beav?
Yeah.
How old is old?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be case dependent. No exact age.
If an older person is
Uh,
really weak,
we're going to learn. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to learn more about that, by the way. Also on Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur.
We also learned about by the manifest with the medication, like taking food. We saw that was okay. We didn't say anything about Tisha Beav.
Oh, we didn't get to that yet. We're gonna get to that.
Okay.
We're going to learn more about older people if they're supposed to break their fast and they don't. They're going against halacha. We're going to learn about that. We're going to see a few stories on that.
What is it? Is there a Sean asked for, like, in general, what does the Torah consider old?
Oh, we're gonna get to that.
We said that, right? I'm saying, like, what?
Yeah, we're gonna.
It's pretty mice. It's pretty like.
It is the real answer is it depends on the exact case because you could have 90-year-olds, people in their 90s that are healthy than people in their 60s.
Yeah,
So
but
that's
so
what
why is it? So why is it used? Is it usually Lashon old or not?
Zakin is usually 70.
Oh, Zakin, yeah.
Zakin is usually 70.
I didn't see. I knew the Lashon. Okay.
Yeah. Too much. Too much. Too much. So let's just do a little bit more. Tomorrow's session, we're going to cover the amount that you. Yes, right now, appointment, we're learning.
This isn't tag.
No, you sit and learn Torah. You have an appointment right now. Come, we're learning. A few more minutes. You have something more important than learning Torah? Okay.
But look at the schedule. Ask them in the office. But Friday.
We'll see you next time. We'll see you next time. Okay, cool. Yeah. Time to sit down for a tag. You're not doing. Okay. So what are we talking about over here? Talking about a person who's weak. All right. If he leaves his house to go to shul, to daven, and to hear laning, he's not going to be able to finish fasting. Some say that he should still go to shul, and if afterwards he will need to break his fast, he could eat. Yes, to Shiloh here. The reason for this is very simple. Yom Kippur, we don't say this. We say it's better to stay home. What's the difference? The difference is Daraisa versus Darabanan. Tisha B'Av, the whole thing is Darabanan. So my chazis lahadiv ze'alzeh. Why are you saying that now the fast is more important than the laning and the davening? Some doubt that. On Tisha B'Av shenidche, if Tisha B'Av was pushed off, we certainly say this, that you daven in shul. It's obvious that you're not allowed to eat before you go to shul in order that you have energy to go to shul. This means after you're ready, you went to shul and then became weak. And now you're obligated to eat. Now you could be lenient. People in the army, people that have important jobs, security and the like, if they're in a hot place and there's a concern that they're going to come to dehydration, they are allowed to break their fast before they come to the dehydration, obviously. Regarding doctors and other, what do they call them? Vital workers? There's another word, like during COVID. My wife was one of them.
Essential.
There it is.
There it is. Shkoyach. Essential workers, people in the medical field that they could come to mistakes if they don't stay hydrated and eat properly. So he says, look in Siman Tav Kuf Nun, which we already learned. They're allowed to break their fast. He says you don't need to double dip and double what we said over there. Yeah.
There's so many essential workers that they missed. They said they always said like the police, but they never said like trash, like
anyone essential. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So going back to the second when you talked about laning and davening, so if
Yeah.
a person goes davening, laning, but then he's feeling weak during, or just maybe exhausted by kinnis, right?
Yeah.
I guess a person could step out for a little bit,
Oh yeah.
take a nap, and then be refreshed, and
Oh yeah.
because that all I'm guessing so that's okay.
Yeah.
You have to push yourself like till you're like falling on your face.
Correct. Like Rosh Hashanah says, you don't need to wait till you faint.
Morning.
Someone who's fasting but needs to take medicine.
Ah,
Oh, or he has a massive headache. He has to take pills. Calm it down. He could take them without water or swallow them with bitter water that he's going to get no pleasure from, and he wouldn't make a bracha on that. Some say that you don't need to make it bitter. What does this mean, make it bitter?
mashkan.
So, what this means, footnote 58, you mix something bitter into the water, for example, tea essence, right? Or the avkas coffee. I'm not such a coffee guy, but I think what that means is the coffee powder without putting sugar in it or anything. No one's interested in just drinking that with water. Okay. Or salt, right? Like a lemon or something. You make it doesn't taste good. Okay. So those are different options what you would do. Shlomo Zalman Auerbach would allow someone who needs to take medicine to take it with a very small amount of water, because this is not like Yom Kippur. Okay, so and tomorrow we will discuss someone who does need to eat. How much are we going to allow them to eat, to drink, and
But you can still have
cover
like
some more
sleeping
levels.
fasting.
Well, once you break it, it's broken.
But isn't
What
like
they
But
what
when
they
we say that
can
you could eat, what does that mean you could eat? How much could you eat?
if we're saying it's if you eat less than a kedei achilas pras, you're drinking less than a revius, isn't that halachically you're still fasting?
I think when you break it, no?
I think that's why they
Have to see in Yom Kippur. Well, that's going to come up. This is really going to come more in Yom Kippur. We'll see about it now. And since people aren't interested in this topic, then we'll definitely learn on Yom Kippur also about fasting. We should. I mean, if we're learning about fasting and who could break it
Fine.
and all the
was
halacha, you might as well learn it too. We already learned about it with all the fast. Now all we have left is Yom Kippur after this, and then Tiny Sister. That's it. We already did Tiny Sister.
Very good.
So, yeah. You
Okay.
have a good understanding very good understanding of fasting. That's the way to learn. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day.